leave it in the comment section. But he also looked at things like wages, taxes, crime rates, number of diseases, amount of doctors, the amount of innovations, the amount of super creators, the amount of even the walking speed. You can see in this picture the walking speed goes up for individuals living in a big city, and he found for all these phenomena which he put under social phenomena that they do not scale up with a power of 3/4 but of a power of 1.15. That means that you have an exponential growth, and that is very hard to sustain because in the end you ran up to a finite amount of resources and energy. So when he looked at the growth of a city like New York, the population amount in a city like New York, then you see that it has an exponential growth, and then it breaks down and a new exponential growth starts, and that breaks down as well and a new one starts. And the time between these breakdowns becomes shorter and shorter, and that is also what he says about innovations. They have to be follow up shorter and shorter, and that's also what we notice. Used to be maybe that a car was the big invention in your lifetime, but nowadays an iPod will last only for a couple of years and then it's outdated. So indeed it seems that when life scales up it slows down, but social phenomena, something strange is happening, so I don't know if it's valid if you look at the government as a big blob of biomass. And so it might be a bit dubious to do this, but I'm going to do it nonetheless. So what do you get if you take an organism the size of the US government, the US federal government? I found on the web 2.7 million people. I don't know if that's correct. It seemed to be very hard to come by. If you fill it in the formula, you get 520 years of lifespan. And of course it is also very slow, and that is also something we experience when we have to deal with the government, that it is very slow. But the question, when will it end, is related to the question, when did it begin? And yeah, I just took something for that. I said it started right at the beginning of the first settlement, 1565. And I skipped the whole thing about the independence war because it was just different people coercing and taxing and nothing fundamentally different. Just a way to extract more money from the people. But 520 years plus 1565, that would mean 2088, actually 523. So that means quite some time to go. And it would exclude also the possibility that government gets bigger. If you get a world government, then it would expand its lifespan even further and it'd take longer. Now, another thing to take into account is, suppose that a dog could talk and come up to you and say, oh man, I have these fleas in my fur and they're biting me and I hate it. And you could say to it, well, don't worry about it, you're much heavier and the flea is very light, so the flea will be dead in a couple of days and you'll be still alive. Would that make the dog very happy? Well, not if he knows that that specific flea will die in a few days, but it might have offspring and that might continue to bother him. So the question also with this 520 years of government is that this government might take 520 years to die, but or have a life expectancy of 520 years. But what about the next one? Is there going to be just a next government, and would this mean that the whole prediction comes to a bad end? Okay, let me know what you think about it, and if you have any ideas that might be fun to think about. Bye-bye.